Talk. Here, Andrea. We're gonna speak about
Hello,
important
hello,
stuff.
hello. Welcome to the Post-War podcast recorded at Karl Marx Studios bunker somewhere hidden in Berlin. I'm Pablo De Negri, your host, and today's guest is artist, documentarist, and community builder Andrea Mineo. Andrea, thank you very much for being here.
Wow, such a professional presentation. Thank you, Pablo, for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Andrea, we met a couple of years ago through friends, actually through Alex, who was episode 2 of the podcast, Wild Anima. And you have an alter ego, a German alter ego, you're Italian. There is Andreas Meyer.
Just in the purpose of housing.
Right, something to do with housing crisis and, well, your project space, Meyer Pavilion.
Maybe I'm gonna use also for a bank account or something like that.
Definitely.
More speculative, but yeah, for now, just that.
I know you make a lot of community, collaborative, artistic projects, transmedia, interdisciplinary. A lot of them have
Complicated stuff.
Work with the topics of spirituality, self-healing, and healing techniques. A lot of search you are into.
Just recently,
right
the
now.
spirituality, yeah.
But I wanted to start from the beginning, in a way, where you think your story started.
When it's ending.
And when will it be ending, if you have a specific date also?
Then we're gonna ask Baba Vanga, this Bulgarian oracle.
Right.
Nostradamus, maybe he has something.
We can talk about, towards the end, we will talk about the future. So
Yeah, the beginning.
definitely.
I don't know the beginning. I have no memory about my birth, but they told me that I was born in Italy, in Turin, this like a witch magical city.
Northern Italy, yeah?
Yeah, northern Italy, but my family is coming from the south, the very south. It's a generation of farmers, and
Right.
through which
Okay.
they thrive and yeah, I mean, I was born there and then moved back to Sicily at the age of 5. So just the time to speak some words and then back to the farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us so far it was an exciting journey, my life. We are here to share some of those milestone.
Because you work with different styles, techniques, you can say, or disciplines from art, but you also have this curatorial practice as a work of art, in a way. I was wondering, when you have your first encounter with art or creative experience, or something that made you feel something in that direction, that you would feel you wanted to search towards?
Well, I work more in terms of project, and in each project can have a different language or methods of creation. And so a project could be starting as a painting, but can develop as a documentary or as a community project. Or in the case of my pavilion, could be a problem, an issue which I encounter, and then becoming a sort of experimental social experiment, and then becoming a curatorial project. But I never saw myself as a curator. And even though I like the fact that curating can be just one of the way in which art can be explored.
Polemic.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of people like to have these practices very well separated, you know?
Yeah. Because of since in the last 20 years we had a curator experimenting as an artist. So creating exhibition with the language of art, I would say, while artists approaching curatorial methods are more seen as a indecisive artist. So artists that doesn't take
That book
a
themselves
side.
for the exhibition.
But this, I mean, dinosaurs still thinking about that. But what I believe is that curatorial approach by an artist is just a way of just another language.
Right.
And I mean, answering the question
Yeah.
you previous posed me, it's when I started. I started doing art. I guess in kindergarten when when my teacher wasn't allowing me to play. So I had this yogurt packaging that I unfolded, and then I was drawing there. So it was pretty sad story. I was the only child couldn't play, and therefore I discovered this magic language which is creating by what you have. And somehow, like, now that you ask me, I am thinking that everything that I do today is somehow approaching a reality in this way by
Yeah.
like resolving problem or make out of the circumstances the best outcome.
Also, from since you were 5,
Yes,
protesting, and just inventing a solution.
yes,
That could be also pataphysics. You know, one definition of pataphysics is the science of imaginary solutions.
yeah. I love pataphysics. I love Jodorowsky, psychomagie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think our society has to take more serious those terms because are part of our words and really can explain how this reality works. You can take science and mathematics and physics, all the methodology that we today we give for guarantee to be
right.
able to explain our reality, and then just put aside all the unconscious, which mainly how we operate day to
Right.
day. I'm even now operating unconsciously.
We all are, at
I
some
have more
extent.
conscious than unconscious, but
I mean,
after
at some
the
extent, I think we are all operating unconsciously.
no,
It's just like
especially me because last night I didn't sleep.
you,
So
especially today.
especially today, I'm very unconscious. So be careful what you ask
Don't
me.
worry about it. You look very fresh
I
either way.
may, I may bring up some lapses, some weird.
You are a guy that,
saying.
from my point of view, have so many energies. You have extra energies. You know, if
Yes.
you can afford not to sleep a couple of days, and you will still be fine.
Yes.
You will still
Yeah.
perform,
This was happening when raving a lot. Yes.
right? So you started with 5, with, let's say, creative.
Yeah, discovering that we can create stuff and enjoy the process and never get bored. And I think like most of the art today is coming from this place of boredom, where when I think my language come from a place of necessity, what I have and what I need to do. And so yeah, I mean, one of the best experience I had is 2020 when we had nothing but limitation,
Right.
and so there were I became more creative than ever. So yeah,
Interesting.
and we got to know, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And what happened between this 5-year-old Andrea and since you decided to start studying visual arts, for example,
Yeah,
in
a
college?
lot, a lot. I mean, yeah, studying, then working, then experimenting with mediums. I wanted to become a super rock star.
Right.
Then yeah, I was to rock and roll for my soft rock band. So I was always doing solo.
Ah,
And
you
so
were
they
doing
keep me.
music also.
Yes, yes. So it wasn't the right place because I want to have my solo. And
Right.
so yeah, it wasn't nice to be in this band after all. So yeah, then I start to do more complex things. I will say complex in term of language.
Right. Well, you grow up also.
Yes, I mean I hope not, not so much.
But I mean, your only objective was not the ego solo moment, you know, from the
Yeah.
rock and roll star. Um, that is great, but as you say, off camera, every teenager wants that in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's
There's
like
time for everything, you know. There's time for rock and roll, time for love, time for drugs. No.
of course there is, of course there is.
There's always time for love. This is what I discovered in the last years, and especially right now, it's what we need. Like coming from this place of art, because there's much confusion. So if you can use this power, this nuclear power, which you have, which is the heart, and in any case, also using your voice, you know. This is the voice of Western communities. Using the voice is has to be like from the heart. So from this place, you can really bring up yourself and
Right.
be truth. At least
Right.
say your truth.
And you stopped your Rockstar project because of studying visual arts, or?
I don't know. I was keeping playing, doing the school, but then I will say I left the band, but I keep playing, you know, drums, guitar, acoustic guitar, and until I moved in Berlin, so I couldn't play drum, but I had a lot of friends musicians, so I could enjoy them playing, seeing playing. And then, yeah, with my pavilion, I would say like 80% of exhibition project were including musician and performer. So
My Pavilion is your project space. In a bit, we will talk about the origin story of the whole, which is I find very telling. But I want to go back before you came to Berlin to your studying times. You did visual arts, and you focus on painting and sculpture. But then you changed to product design. You did a master's studium in product design.
yeah, yeah.
Which for me sounds a bit funny, because it's like going a bit more technical corporative direction, which
Yeah.
is actually interesting because there's maybe job possibilities.
Yeah.
But why did you did this shift, so to say? And I don't know if it's a shift even, but
Yeah.
why after visual arts doing product design?
I mean, my father will enjoy it very much if he will be still alive. That I complete the product design
Okay.
master. Even when I wanted to go to, you know, academy and study sculpture, he was, are you sure? There's architecture. There's you see, he was bringing me brochure of university the architecture. I was, oh no, you know, you know, Papa.
Papa.
I think I want to do this. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So somehow I always you know looked for a compromise where my artistic practice wouldn't be too much on the air, just experimenting aesthetic, or but be also you know, researching and resolving problem.
Right.
It could be personal problem, but it could be in a vast range, social problem. And today we have a lot of those
Yes.
problems. So there's a lot of to do. And yeah, I mean, you come back to your topic. Yeah, I studied product design, which was pretty boring. That's why I was following a lot of classes about contemporary aesthetic problem, painting, sculpture. In Brera, Milan, we had the opportunity to have a great artist as a teacher. And so, yeah, I was following them, and then, yeah. And then I came to Berlin.
Was it a sculpture artist or painting artist?
Yeah, both sculpture and painting artists. But really, like a lot, also video maker. I mean, Milan is like the center of
course.
of all, I will say, great artists in Italy, but of course everywhere.
Italian
Yeah.
perspective of art. Actually, it's the official Western perspective of art history, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Even though it's not like so great as people think. For example, when I was studying Milan, there was a lot of like Chinese students, and there was like super rich Chinese student. I don't know, but the people outside I think that still Milan is the greatest university, but it's not so great actually. It's just for them was an opportunity to get a curriculum certificate that proved that they studied in Italy. But yeah, after a few months, those students were disappearing, and no one know where we're going. I don't know.
What do you mean
Yes,
disappear?
disappearing like suddenly. There were
There were secret agents from
yes.
Xi Jinping.
I don't know. There was some kind of secret agents taking them out, doing something else.
Right, because it's also a very globalized, this narration of Western art history, with the center in Florence, for example,
Yeah.
since the Renaissance, and for the Eastern world, especially since this last World War, a form of approaching this new globalized story and culture and Western culture was to get closer to this iconic European, like the origins of
Culture.
European
Exactly.
Western culture,
Well,
like,
which is still in a way in Firenze. If you want to study sculpture and the traditional way, you go to Firenze. There's
of
no
course.
another way. And also most of the famous artists, if they need like a marm sculpture, and they don't want to pay like billions, they go to Firenze and take some student from there and commission some sculpture, like a
Right.
Catalan. Or
Like for 600 years,
yes,
it
it's
was the
still.
600 years the same, so to
It's,
say.
it's very speculated. Unfortunately, a school where they use those they call it scalpellini.
Yeah.
They- you hear all day like.
Did you do this like real, like
Yes, I did
marm?
some
Wow.
marms. Some no, it wasn't marm. It was a more soft stone.
Okay.
Um, but I didn't enjoy it because at the end I had like cramps all over my body, and I didn't like the fact that this beautiful stone could be half of it would be just in the trash, and so I like to
What do you mean? Did they throw the?
no, because in the process of sculpting you have to take away
Ah,
material in order to have a
I
form, and
understand.
so
Yeah, yeah.
most of the time when you want to do a sculpture and you see around yourself like mountain of marms that is not used.
You were feeling guilty because of the waste
No,
of
not guilty,
material.
but just I didn't like the fact that I have to take out from this like super nice stone. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I will do a stone sculpture, but only in that traditional ways. Yeah.
And what happened since? I know then you did product design, and what happened since then and Berlin? Before taking the decision to come to Berlin, where were you doing as projects then?
In Italy, yes, I started to experiment also with community. My pavilion is not the first. Was one of the many that I created in Italy, and specific was in Palermo, 2012, a community called Macerie, meaning ruins, and it was giving to me an apartment, actually a building, which was from the 14th century. And this apartment given to me by a collector which appreciated very much my work and wanted to give me a space. And he had many buildings in Palermo, but because of the bureaucracy of rebuilding or renovating those was too long, somehow most of those buildings fell in neglect. And so happened that I
Kind of a Berlin story, one could say, from the
kind of
90s,
Berlin,
maybe.
but with a few century more of history.
Right.
And
That's
I
a little
was
kick there to German from an Italian person.
I mean just few century, but I came across to this collector and I showed my work and he was following me, and then told me, look, I have this apartment, this building, you can use it as a studio temporarily. I went there and was totally filled with ruins. He wasn't aware of it as well because he wasn't even living in Palermo. So, and so what happened is that I had this beautiful, full of fresco and decoration,
Wow.
as like a layered.
Wow.
You can see the layer of
Yeah,
history
yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
because every family decorate this house according to the style of the time.
Wow.
And so, but it was filled with ruins that wasn't belonging to the building. And so I discovered that the mafia somehow managed to bring those ruins inside, to just spare
To add
money
value
to
to the, or to
yes.
show off.
No, just to spare money on
On building or
on how you say on this building waste, because you have to pay if you demolish a building.
they were
Then you have to
reusing.
pay
Okay.
to for the waste material,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
they brought all this
So they
material
were
inside.
using ruins for very old
Yes,
buildings that had
and they brought it
frescoes on
inside
them.
this building.
Wow.
And so I had the studio, and I didn't want to have my studio. I saw the opportunity to, instead of having my little space, clean up my little space, invite a whole huge community of artists in Palermo, which is huge, like in Berlin. Friend of mine, also inviting other artists that I got to know in the process. And the aim was to clean up this mess and organize an exhibition using the material of limitation, the ruins. So Masharia was somehow an itinerant project which started in this
Materia was the name of the space and the
the
project.
the project, yeah. And so we opened up this building, we cleaned it up, we did this amazing exhibition in a neighbor which was like totally
Unexpected.
filled with markets and not legal business. And so from one day to another, this neighbor saw the entrance of a huge amount of people, and this this put the people living in this neighbor, this mafia family,
Made
in
them
a little bit
uncomfortable.
in a danger somehow. They felt in a danger. So
Exposed or
yeah, I think. Yeah, for many reasons, of course, they wanted to know what I was doing. That I saw all these arty people coming, and so they couldn't trust, the secret spaces where were doing,
right.
this illegal stuff, and so I
Just to
got.
be clear, the
Yeah.
illegal stuff were art exhibitions
No,
or
the illegal stuff were drugs
okay,
stuff.
not your
Like,
illegal stuff.
no,
I
no,
mean
no. My
their
was totally.
business. Okay, okay.
Somehow my stuff
Just
were
to
also.
clarify. You
Yeah,
were
I mean,
just doing artist projects,
yeah, sure,
but you were
sure.
in the amidst this building and neighborhood
Yeah,
that was part of this mafia system in a way.
yeah, yeah. And so I came into this environment, and I just open up. And so what I got is death threatened, and then I got also kicked and beaten.
But the people who got you this place
Yes.
couldn't help you to keep in the place, or
to help me to what?
to not lose the space, so to say?
Sure. I was in a place where already the agreement of being there was established,
I
was
understand.
already established. So the problem was the family was living around weren't happy to see all this exhibition and all this
Too
movement.
freaky for them.
Too freaky, yeah. And yeah, it was pretty tough at the beginning. Then I learned how to communicate non-violently, yeah,
Yeah.
with them. And then yeah, somehow we came to agreements where the time of the exhibition were reduced, and somehow we have to also respect some rules. Yeah, but they always were finding something
Yeah.
blame on.
They send you the typical guys to like collect
Yeah,
the
also
money
also
and break your
police
leg, or
police came so many
police
times.
also.
Yeah, came after they beat me. They came, and and they first went to the family, and they had discussion there. They came up to me, and they were surprised how like a building so neglected could be transformed into art
The
gallery. Or
policeman.
and the policemen, yeah, they were so interested. And I just explained the work, and they,
You did a
oh,
tour to
nice.
the policeman.
Yes, and they wanted also a catalog. I had like a true catalog only printed, so said, "Can I keep it?" So, okay. So,
My God.
but they
Sounds
were
like
happy.
Argentinian policeman also.
No, I was afraid also because this, all this activity that we were doing there were not 100% legal, because the building was not renovated. It was architecturally speaking, it wasn't allowed to bring so much volume of people. So, but this for the first month. Then the exhibition were more regulated, and yeah. Now today it's under the name Di Moraos. When I left Palermo, I wanted this project to keep alive, and so a few of the members that I was working with, they took over and create a project space. They doing workshop, events, exhibition. So it's good to see this apartment somehow renovated and brought back to life. After this experience of Machere in this 14th century building, we had a few other buildings that we opened.
Also in Palermo.
Also in Palermo, yes, which were among those were a church, 16th century
Nice.
church, and another palace from 17th century. We opened up and we did a great work of community and building a relation between artists. This is what I like the most. Essentially, it's not the exhibition itself is not so important. It's the process in which this exhibition came to life, and was created.
And why moving to Berlin?
Why?
Why taking the decision of leaving this scene you were already part of and creating?
I was bored to eat pasta, and I needed some sausages. No, I was actually a criminal, and I had to escape from the. So I found Berlin nice place.
But I mean, I know you're a criminal and everything, but I mean, when did you take the decision? I'm moving to Berlin.
I mean, I was a little bit bored by the fact that politics and economic wise, how workers are treated in Italy. There's
Yeah.
no proper ethical is the war the how can
Work
I-
ethics.
Yeah, work ethics wasn't so important, and so yeah. I mean, I visited Berlin when I was 18. I like it.
But regarding art work, you mean, or arts work, or work in general?
Work in general. I mean, yes, I came here for learning the language. Have experiences, all ranges of
The
experiences.
whole spectrum of experience.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think it's our most important, the most important school is traveling in life. I think we need to travel as much as possible. I mean, until the world will be destroyed by
Yeah.
war and dictatorship, which we are very close. I think we need to travel as much as possible and visit many country as possible. I mean, it's not so easy for certain nationality. I feel myself lucky that I can travel across
Right.
Europe.
You live like in the 1% of the
I mean,
world.
not the 1%, but by traveling in Mexico, Morocco, all around, I spoke with people that they never left their hometown.
Yeah, I mean, related the world population,
Yes.
if you contemplate the world population, those who live in developed countries and those who
Yes.
are allowed to travel normally, it's a luxury, sadly, no?
Yes, yes. Suddenly is a luxury, but it should be a birthright, in my
Yeah,
idea.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the world belongs to us, not to the government. That's what I
And,
say.
and when did you get into hypnotherapy and counseling? Was still when you were in Italy?
No, I was here in Berlin.
Okay.
I had some spare time and I wanted to deepen the research into the altered state of mind, and hypnotherapy was just one way through which you can experience that, and also help people stop pattern or whatever it is. Could have very very deep result, very deep, very very important result, I would
Right.
say.
So
But I
that
mean, yes, I used hypnotherapy with some friends, yes, but I wouldn't say that I'm a hypnotherapist. I mean, it's just
right.
another way to
But I
experience this
mean, I
altered state of
connected
mind.
because of you were saying you came to Berlin because of this feeling that you have to be open and
Yeah,
constantly like traveling and open to new experiences, and the spectrum of
yeah,
experiences
yeah.
is very coming to the decision to come to Berlin had to do with this awakening, so to say.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, then the fact that I was living here brought
This was 2017, just to put in.
2017. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Brought to the new ideas, also new question. Why am I here? Why Berlin and not London,
Right.
or not, Ciudad de Mexico? I don't
Right.
know. Like, just brought me here for a series of circumstances. Um, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed so far my life here, and there's like a huge community of artists, and this is what I think Berlin is rich of, and I think Berlin could be proud of. But we have so less. Community people that really believe in community, people that really know how to manage those amazing people around, because artists, they want to be heard. The artists, they want to be they want to create, and today we see a world that keeping, like, dividing people and keeping put people against one another. And especially in the system of art, we see this stereotype of the famous artists, of the climbing the pyramid
Yeah.
of the 1%, which is not gonna happen for most of the, unfortunately, for most of the artists. But there's this like huge value that each of us have, and I think my aim in the last few years here in Berlin is to bring those people together and and give a space of expression, whatever could be a concert or an exhibition. And I'm not caring so much about the background or experience in exhibition or experience or all along. But I believe in the value that each person, each artist has to show. I
Right.
think this is very specific and very very personal. And yeah, I will say focus less on what the people think, what the current thing wants you to be, and focus more on what is the special things about yourself as an artist, how you approach your life. And this would be a lifelong research,
Journey.
could be a project, could
Yeah.
be whatever. Yeah.
Because stereotype, and I'm sure this was affecting you also in some part in your decision to come into Berlin in your personal search, that the stereotype is Berlin is one of the most
Which
open.
is stereotype?
This one, that's the Berlin is one of the most open or
Yeah.
creative, or
Yeah, right.
this governor from Berlin once
Right.
say it's poor but sexy, has
Right.
all this inheritance of the 80s communal organizations and these avant-garde
Sure.
communities, and so there is so much of it still in the air, even though it's not like that anymore. It's not,
Yeah, it's
not
not.
the way it could be.
It's not like that anymore. No, not because of higher forces, but just because of us. I think I see still the good in Berlin. There's so many project fund that you artists can apply and get money
Right.
for, and there is so many opportunity gallery. Berlin has thousand of independent space. So you don't have to focus only on the specific market place, and so as a laboratory, Berlin is it's very 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 important for an artist. But of course, like once you experience those characteristic, you may get bored,
Right.
and especially when when the winter comes. I'm lucky because the
5
winter.
months of darkness and cold.
Yeah, that's I think the only bad thing. But if you have a second home, you can always come back. I tend to not be so much in Berlin when it's winter. The most beautiful travel I did during winter just to escape. So we went to Mexico, Greece, Morocco. I just came from Morocco. I'm
Yeah.
not tanned because I.
I thought
As
about
you-
going to the solarium before the shooting, because
Yes.
this guy would come directly from the desert.
You went to Solarium? It didn't work, man.
Last time I was there was like 1 month ago. It's already
Yeah, I'm more
worn
brown
off.
than you.
But
I mean, we are both
I
Latino.
was worrying
but-
that you would be black today,
Yes,
and like,
yes.
I was like,
When I came, I was like this jacket color, but then because my skin is have dermatitis, so my skin is hyperactive.
metabolic. Ah.
Yes, so it's changing
So
constantly.
you wear off this color very
Yes,
fast.
like a snake. I put my skin on a jacket and
Your jacket goes well with a Jurassic Park
Yes.
cap.
nice. No, I have two cups, one for the tea, one for the water.
But yeah, I agree that Berlin is still inspiring in the way of what it means, the
Yeah.
history, a lot of the feeling, and the communities still have this rhetoric and these values.
I know
but
that you are bored about Berlin.
no, I
But
didn't
I mean,
say
we are
that.
here. We have to enjoy it and
I
see the
mean,
good part.
I'm still one of the ones that chose to stay here.
Yeah,
Even a lot of things happened, and I
Yeah.
always chose to stay here. So,
Sure.
but as you say, there's like systemic walls. You might call it, that has to do with capitalism, that has to do with bureaucracy, with discrimination, but they exist, right? And one of the first walls you encountered here had to do with the origin story of your
Yeah.
project space, actually, which
Yeah.
is my pavilion. You want to tell how this story
Sure,
went?
I mean discrimination is not the most relevant. I mean in this city, but if you really have to look inside, there is still this problem as everywhere else in Italy, in Milan, and everywhere in the country. Unfortunately, discrimination is one of the most problem, and separation. But I think because of ignorance, discrimination is coming it's a result of ignorance, and yeah, belief. I mean, if you will know every culture in the world, and you have experienced all culture in the world, you wouldn't discriminate unless you live in your bubble and you want to defend. But anyway, this is another topic. I think.
No, but this is why you said also that traveling should be like a mandate,
Yes,
because it
Let's
definitely
make it mandate.
like obligation.
Traveling once a year.
Yeah, but it definitely broadens up your world perspective.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so strict, but yeah, definitely.
Okay, it has the
If I will have
potential
a
to do
child,
it.
I would definitely will make him travel, her or him travel as much as possible, as
But-
much as my pocket
Yeah.
can hold.
But this story with your German alter ego, Andreas,
Andreas
Meyer,
yeah.
comes from finding an artistic, creative solution from facing one of these
Well, it wasn't
walls,
artistic at the time. Was
Right.
just
Survival.
like desperation out of
Right.
desperation. No, I was looking for a studio in 2020, the beginning of pandemic, and nothing was available. And
Yeah.
after 6 months, I still couldn't find the flat, and I had this experience of, I would say, discrimination, but it wasn't still like it wasn't direct. And so I talked with some friends, and they told me actually it was discrimination, man. You should contact this anti-discrimination agency. And
Because for what I understood, so your name is Andrea, no Andreas. If it
Yeah.
were Andreas, it would be German.
yes,
And also your
I
last
wish
name
I
is
could
not Meyer.
call myself Andreas. It's more Latino.
But the thing is, at some point, they did give us argument that you needed a German passport, for example.
Sure. Well, it happened many times in eBay, a few ads, but only one ad I was able to record with a screenshot. And this was the ad which I sent it to discrimination agency and then escalate to a series of action and become what we know Maya Pavilion. But Andreas Maya was this fake fictitious name that
Yeah.
I created in order to test the increase of possibility of getting a flat studio. And so yeah, once I sent the screenshot of this ad to the discrimination agency, they called me back and they said that is actually they are sorry that I'm facing this problem and they could provide me legal support for this.
Right.
And so I went there. I meet them. And so yeah, they said that even though I can start a process against eBay Kleinanzeiger, but even if I win the process, they couldn't provide me a flat.
Of course.
So
With this name, we cannot help you. With
You
this migrant
cannot.
name.
No, please. But yeah, so I came back home a little bit frustrated, and I said myself, I thought that the only way to find a flat is maybe changing a name. It was just for fun, honestly, and then became more serious when I had this true profile, Andreas Meyer, Andrea Mineo, and I was every day working with, applying for studio. And in 1 week, I had 6 requests to studio visit, like house visit
Yeah.
with Maya, and 0 with Andrea Mineo.
This is when you change your name from Andrea Mineo to Andreas Meyer.
Yes, I
Just
didn't
for the
change my
purpose
name.
of just for the purpose of getting the
Yeah,
flag.
but I didn't change the name. I just create a new account.
Okay.
Because I was still
I mean,
the,
changing
the
your
true
name
name.
in your search for an
Yeah, yeah.
apartment.
I like. I have this the pleasure of having this notebook to explain. So
The
I
ones
have
listening only audio will not see it, but we can describe.
Maya and then Mineo. So I had this true account, and every day for 7 days, I was making so many application,
Right.
working
With the
constantly,
both accounts parallel.
and in 7 days, Meyer got how many? I don't remember, but um, I would say 4 and 0 for sure. Mineo, and one of these 4 became my studio. So during the pandemic, I got this contract, but still, like in Palermo and with the project Mascheria, I I the I wouldn't be happy to just use my studio as a studio, and so to end this process, to end this this journey, I wanted to organize an exhibition with immigrants artists living in Berlin. Then during the pandemic was one of the best exhibition that I ever organized. So many people. I won't don't say.
So when you
But
finally got the apartment, you said, I won't use this apartment for
yes,
living. I will make it an exhibition
yeah, an
space.
exhibition.
The Meyer Pavilion, which is
Yeah, it was
like
supposed
a
to be
kind
just
of
an exhibition. Yeah,
a playful a name with
yeah,
like a serious German art institution could be using this alter ego
yeah,
of yours, like the German alter ego
yeah.
that got you the apartment.
Yeah, and during this process, I was doing documentary. I came across the idea of doing a documentary because it was so complex. So many people I was meeting among like lawyer, also friends who had the same experience, similar than mine, and and so I wanted to bring this topic up because it's not so so experienced in the common language. In Berlin, like 8 people out to 10 are foreign, and
In Berlin, maybe.
but yeah, I mean this is what I experienced. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say this the main
Yeah.
problem, but this is what I experienced, and this brought me to think about a permanent studio that can host artists and it, in a time of separation can bring artists together and start to have to give the opportunity to get to know themselves, to get to know each other, and yeah, also because we are losing grip on reality at that time.
We are losing a grip on
We are
the
still losing grip,
Yeah. We are
especially
still.
now with this
I mean, we all
podcast.
have different reference system or explications, justifications on why that is, but I think most of us will agree that
Yeah.
something's out of grip.
Yeah, which bring us to another topic. Be true to yourself. When everything in the outside world, it's confusing you. You can rely on the fact that you are alive and the fact that you are here and now. So this, I think, is the basic for, I would say, any pathology or any distress. Come back to the reality, come back to here now. But in the term of this project, my pavilion was more like get to know the community of artists in Berlin, which is huge. And thanks to this project, I started to collaborate and get to know a lot of artists, you included. So I think the aim of any project, artistic project, is to bring people together.
Right.
I mean, art is for that. It's bringing people together, discussing about get to know the fabric of reality, and that's it.
Interesting. And when did you get interest in what has to do? You mix your travel taste with this at some point with the search or investigation of healing practices. When did you feel the need to find ways of healing, and what was that you wanted to heal, so to say?
Myself, of course. Yeah, the world. I don't know. I just it was a casual meeting with a series of a healer
Yeah.
across my travel, and also in this time, I wanted to bring those meeting in form of a documentary. I think documentary is one of the most important medium for us to not only transfer our experience but also bring a senseful line of what we are doing during this journey.
To register some
To register
map
something,
or,
yeah. Of course, you have thousands, like hundreds of hours recorded, but then a documentary has to be 30, 50 minutes. So I'm still struggling to the fact that the project has to has to be finished. So I have so many projects open, but yeah, that's one of the the struggle.
So you were-
but one
yeah.
day will be over. And
course.
yes, this topic of healing started in Mexico when I went to Mexico. Yeah, meeting all community of curanderos and shaman. We did also the ayahuasca ceremony there, and so it
Wow.
was lovely.
That's a very like modern artist activity since the beat writers generation, like Burroughs or so, where because for a century or so there was this gossip, that's these tales that ayahuasca would give you superpowers or telepathic powers. So it was a very common thing for writers and outlaws, like cultural, social-wise, for 100 years already, to go to make a trip in Latin America to try to find
Right.
what really like ayahuasca makes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
There's a William Burroughs book. It's called Ayahuasca Letters.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is this stereotype of ayahuasca, but this is something based on truth. It's a millennial plant, and which was used for millennia from the tribals to get in touch with natural world, but also the spiritual world. What I think it's we have a lot of to learn from that region specific, Latin America, but we have a lot of to learn from those plants. In a time where medicine and psychotropic are
Not
the
doing
major
much.
use for pathology.
But not solving anything in a very visible way, so to say.
Either make you dependent on them.
We see the crisis, opiacism crisis, so pharma crisis in the USA, for example, and it's very heavy with this fentanyl stuff, and there's certain problems that traditional medicine, so in technocratic, industrialized medicine is not being able to tackle, and creating new problems either. no?
I mean, I don't say that Western medicine is totally useless. I mean,
would
if you
also
broke a
don't say
arm,
that.
you just go to the hospital. But if you have a depression or whatever symptom mentally related, I think I will refrain to straight go to psychotropic. I had a lot of friends who fell in this issue. Also part of my family. I wouldn't say
Legal drugs, one would say, no?
No, psychotropic, antidepressant or
Okay,
whatever.
legal drugs, I mean.
Yeah, legal. I mean, big pharma drugs.
Like drugs that a doctor will
Yes.
prescribe
Yeah.
prescribed to you. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend to go straight on them.
No, me neither.
I, I, um, I wouldn't also even recommend to go straight to the ayahuasca ceremony, you know, because I mean you may get more crazy than you are, but definitely there's a lot of to discover, and we already did. We are already doing it somehow. You can do ayahuasca ceremony also in Berlin. It's pretty funny. I never did in Berlin, but I opt to for a more traditional way.
Yeah. So when this, you were in vacation and you had this experience.
No, I never in vacation. So I even when people say
you
you're
were
holiday,
working.
yeah, I'm working. I'm an artist. You know, I constantly working.
But you didn't have this topic that became very central in your works, in your search.
When I landed in Mexico, I somehow had this idea of documenting and you know, asking around about shaman, and then eventually I found it. But it wasn't the project of a documentary wasn't
right.
You know, already established, and I would say that after an experience of I would say dramatic and also enlightening. I had the call of this urge of experience on bringing light to document somehow the healing practices in a time where there is so much to heal.
But
so
were you
much
already
to-
looking for consciously? Were you looking for healing, or you weren't consciously looking for that?
No, I was looking for healing. Like when I was traveling, I was constantly like working. My companion, she would just wanted to chill. Yeah, she would just go to the beach and then we chill. I was constantly there with the computer and looking for, you know, community. Also meet people
Yeah.
and then we got great encounter. I mean, in a place where most of the healing center are not on the internet, you have to come. You have to rely on relation and speaking with the people and asking
Right.
them, "Do you know about this? Can you help me find this?" And so it was a fun journey. Yeah.
Did you learn any Spanish in your ayahuasca trip?
I
Or
wish.
Portuguese?
No, I can speak. I puedo hablar poquito. No, but I wish I could speak more Spanish. Yes, I actually did a Spanish interview to a lady which was mastering the jaguar healing.
Okay.
And we got in this house where
Jaguar
this
is a typical
jaguar balam.
Animal, no? From the, I guess, from
Yeah.
that region.
Exactly, and she was mastering the energy of the jaguar, but she couldn't speak English, so I had to, you know, somehow.
Translate the jaguar, the jaguar energy.
I was speaking jaguar. No, I was speaking Spanish. Then I reviewed the interview. I was speaking Spanish, some Italian, some English, and she was totally understanding me.
Wow.
And we totally understand each other.
My bet is you were speaking Italian, but she still got most of it because
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
we still get most of Italians.
Yeah,
I think.
I think language is a nice topic. You know, when the language is not confined to grammar or not confined to you know, a set of from the ego. It's not confined by the ego. Can touch other
Right.
people. Is a sound. Language is sound. So yeah, but I want to really learn Spanish.
So you started already recording these interviews.
Yeah.
So it's a series of interviews from your trip with, let's say, alternative healers.
Yes, yes.
The topic is about exactly alternative
Yeah.
healing processes.
Yeah, we got a shaman from Shipibo culture. We got two ceremony. One from a Shipibo, very colorful tradition. Where the very musical, I will say, and then one other from the Lakota, which is more rhythmic.
Both in Mexico, yeah?
No, the Lakota one was in Corfu,
Okay.
in Greece.
All
Yeah.
right, then you went to Greece.
Yeah. And then in Morocco, we met this Fatima, Tomoko Fatima Ito, which was mastering the art of sound from the crystal bowls. And she had a set of huge crystal bowls, which made in Japan. She's from Japan, and she's working there. She's very famous in that area. Yeah, she does many things. Healing.
Is that a kind of meditation induced by these sound vibrations, or how does that go?
The sound is vibration. We are some kind of vibration from the atomic level to a quantum level. So what she does is using this vibration produced by the crystal bowls. She interacts to the aura or the energy field of the people, and without forcing any healing, but just to interact with this energy field. And in each is interesting because each crystal bowls has a specific character, a specific way of presenting itself. Not in every ceremony that she does, all the bowls are played. There's a certain ceremony where some bowls don't want to be played because they are shy. They don't want to.
Because the frequencies may be needed for the specific.
Yes, and she's very sensible to this topic. And she was also, by the way, the voice as a way of interacting, like we do with language. She does with sound, so sound therapy you call it. But in Mexico, I wanted to experience the peyote. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible because they suggested me to not go to the desert without a guide or without a local. Because of danger. It's
I
dangerous.
understand.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to do with the mental world or the spiritual world. Just
No,
have to do with like physical danger.
It's very tough because peyote is you have to take in mind that you're gonna have at least 2 days of trip.
Wow.
It's not like you ask. It's just 6 or 8 hour.
Right.
It's a huge trip. Yeah.
Right. There's the typical image that you go into the desert for a couple of days and you see the wolf, the fox.
Yeah, I mean, the desert is one of the places where you either can have a trip like a Burning Man or discovery journey like Jesus Christ, the Nazarene. But I mean, I don't like drugs unless they're used for ritual and healing purpose of exploration. I think the use of drugs, and I intend also alcohol, which the origin was meant for, facilitate conversion, like philosophical conversion, veritas or whatever.
I still use it.
It's overused, and it's became like day-to-day drugs. I don't like drugs, so I like to explore the topic of the use of those substances and how they impact. How can they help us to better understand not only our life, but also our globe and beyond.
And just to give us a little snoop in your future documentary, probably with all these interviews and so between Mexico, Greece, Morocco, and what can you tell us something that you found, also that you learn, that you say
Inshallah.
there's something happening there, something like I take with me, and it's a kind of hope, so to
Yes,
say.
definitely inshallah, which is a Arabic term, which means if God
Inshallah.
wants, and it's very prominent in that land. Or I mean, I experience in that region. Inshallah means that not if God doesn't want, nothing gonna happen, and it's used when it's when the people speaking about future events or planning events. And first weeks of my travel in Morocco, I was totally like overwhelmed by the fact that the plan that I was making
Wasn't working.
wasn't working at all. So, and then I got introduced to this term and make totally sense. It's like
Yeah.
a switch of mentality, a switch of way of thinking,
Yeah.
a way of approaching reality, which brought me in a state of acceptation of this constantly waving fabric of reality, which can bring whatever, especially Morocco, where the circumstances can lead you to so many alternative situation. And so yeah, inshallah is definitely one of the words that I learned that I would bring to my life, to my
Like a
experience.
mantra,
Yeah,
like
like
an
a mantra.
ethical mantra
Yeah,
that
whatever you plan on the future, you always have to take in consideration that nature or like higher forces, and also approach life in more healthy, I would say, way.
yeah, there's something that has to do with the hygiene of thoughts, for example. And when something doesn't go like we thought about, we start to pollute in this hygiene a
Yeah.
lot, and self-blaming, and self-punishing. And I guess this way of dissociating from that, and not to punish yourself so much in a like Catholic
Yeah.
way, or
Yeah.
it's also very liberating and very healthy. Your projects with my pavilion, I don't know, I think since the beginning, but
Yeah.
progressively they definitely got um, into this direction from, 'cause it's very common nowadays in contemporary art, that is this fusion with holistic, spiritual, and alternative practices as a work of art also, as a part of the exhibition, guided meditation, for example, or this acoustic therapy, or
Yeah.
um, your trips and your experiences had something to do with that?
Uh, Not much. I mean, when people see a ceremony in a context of art, I think it's missed the purpose. I think it's a way of putting a pedestal and something that actually belong to our life. Is not something that you just have to observe and
Right.
be estranged by it. Yeah, we had many ceremony and ritual in our festivals, and you were part of also, I
Yeah.
guess. No, the reason why I put our visual art concerts and rituals is because the the combination of those three brings something magical in a space where the surround is an exhibition, and you leave the space. You are leaving the space during 24 hour or even more. You can really see the work of art differently during a concert, a rock, a punk concert, or electronic concert of John Luna, differently than a cacao ceremony or breath work. So I think that's you have a deeper relation to the work of art if
Yeah.
you have this combination of these three factors. And so this was the characteristic of the last
Yeah.
festivals. Yeah.
This definitely something I acknowledge in younger
Yeah.
younger scenes,
Hmm.
because I definitely belong to a generation where any artistic manifestation as part of the creative scene
Hmm.
meant necessarily escaping from the search of self-improvement in the traditional sense, and
Yes.
more with intoxicating and destroying and reacting in that way. And I see a big shift in the last years in this regard, especially with the younger generations, where they are incorporating something that before was categorized as new age, or like
Hmm.
the most opposite thing that art snob guy would, or musician,
Yeah.
would integrate into the world, being healthy, for example, or wanted to find ways of healing and
Yeah.
being better. And now there is, of course, contemporary art is very flexible, but there is
Yeah.
definitely there a shift that I find positive.
Yeah.
That there's also the opening for this kind of search. It doesn't have to go opposite to being an artist or being
Mm.
a musician to be also healthy mentally and
Mm.
physically.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the main role of art to be healing, and definitely is no a new thing of art to be a healing practice. I mean, in the there's this book, for example, of Sheldrake, which is a scientist, and it's you know not classified, but putting in a list the all activity, human activity, that are connected to health, and connecting those activity to the religion, the major religion of the world. And he saw that most of the activity in each religion are related to health. So, which are essentially five or six, which are meditation, relation with nature, pilgrimage, like traveling.
Traveling, yeah.
Yeah, it's this is most fundamental. I mean, animals. They all, most of the animals have two homes, where they move from one region to another in search of better condition. So why we human can
Right.
cannot find a today the pilgrimage is tourism, is a surrogate
Right.
of this practice of going to a holy place. And so it's bringing a lot of money for the for most of the country, and therefore it's allowed to do tourism. But at the beginning, at the origin of this is going to a holy place, going to discover yourself in a different country and open yourself. And then there are other practices, can be singing, music, as well as creative expression. So there are very few practices that we can say is art, but also belong to human nature and provide healing. But what is healing? I think it's just coming back to a state of balance. It's nothing special. It's nothing magical. It's nothing extraordinary. It's just coming back to a state of balance. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it very. I'm very grateful actually that some things had changed in that way,
Yeah.
because the world for artists and the endogenous scenes, I know from Argentina, but probably here too, with there was
Mm.
not possibility to permeate other lifestyles, and the only option was the destruction, self-destruction
Mm.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Then you have already a limitation, like a physical limitation that is very strong. Like for at one point, if you want to be a rock star, you had to sell your soul to the devil, and you will be dead by 28, or 31.
Yes.
And
Yeah, there's an alternative, to this. We have to push back to this narrative. To be famous, you have to
right.
compromise, a series of compromise, and we have to fight back in a way that it's new, was never done, and it's by connecting people together and find support. because if I know you, Pablo, doing video art, and I have an exhibition where it's about video art and AI, I will call you and I will collaborate with you and so on. If I looking for a musician, like I rather pay for an album of Joe and Luna instead of super famous musician, which you find easily in Spotify. You can download. But I mean, we have to find new way to support each other economically and humanly, and the human level, and we have to, I think, fight back this globalization trend, this narrative of alienation, that brings artists in the wrong place to spend their life to search in something that they either they saw on the catalog something interesting, but they bring those amazing people off road, searching for a might, searching for stereotype, and so yeah, there are many ways we can fight back. I mean, the podcast is a good way to bring people together to learn, and to, even without having this goal of being the super successful podcast,
Right.
where you have a sponsor and
You
you have
started
to.
also a podcast in the context of Mayor Pavilion and these interviews,
Yes.
and so I was also appeared as a guest.
Ah,
So
nice. Yes.
it's very nice to be able to
Yes. Yeah. We
return
invite each other to podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But do you feel optimistic?
no, at all. I'm joking.
Because you are narrating a lot of things that could one get hopeful, you know?
Sure.
Never mind technocratic capitalist system that propose that we get away from ourselves for the inner search and all the distractions and all the systematization of this distraction. There is all these practices, new ways of organizing, of getting together, not only anymore as a stereotype, new age, crazy thing from the 90s, but more in synchrony with a lot of other things. In this case,
With the context, with
with
nature,
art scene, so to say.
Yeah.
But still, you are betting. Since I know your projects on that in a way, do you feel hopeful that this could mean also that there's a chance for the system as a whole to get better or to heal, even though right now we might not see it as a global level as a possibility? You think about that?
I hope the system will gonna collapse. Honestly, like, I hope I mean, the system as we know is already crumbling. I mean, yesterday was the worst day for stock market, and we have a huge crisis coming. And the reason why I wasn't sleeping tonight was because I was watching this Baba Vanga prediction for 2023, which make me very negative. But also, like, and I never be pessimist. I see, of course, the narrative want to destabilize the fundament of family, fundament of our solidarity and understand empathy and human contact. Coming together and discuss instead of always arguing about futile stuff.
Yeah, who has more or who's the best or
No, also even like right and left, or even like ideas, gender
categories.
or categories. There is a narrative, there is an agenda that wants to destabilize both economically and culturally and humanly. But I think it's the greatest opportunity for us to understand what is really important, why we are here. I mean, the first time that that I discovered philosophy was when I was asking myself, I guess, when I was a little child, why do we die? So it's all like we live, we work, and then we die, and then everything is vanished. And so I ask myself, like, even today, why certain why do we live? And so, and even every time I found different different reason, but the main, I think, would be you experience and love, expanding this energy, which is love, which is not the Western idea of love, of relations, and but it's a connection. When you speak about love, is recognize that you are not separated from the others, and of course from nature. Really bringing up this like a wide angle perspective. I think this has to do with what I do, and as well as the plan for the future. Yeah, I mean, there are many things we can say for the future. For example, Baba Vanga says that this year gonna be a solar flame, which gonna
It's a solar storm,
solar
so
storm, solar
electromagnetic.
flame. Yes, it's gonna kill all this technology.
Oh no, we won't want to able to do the podcast
You
anymore.
still have to pay. I hope she's wrong. But also, I mean, economic crisis and so on, a new virus and atomic bomb and nuclear war. But I mean, I don't think there is destiny already written. Even though Baba Vanga was one of the most famous after Nostradamus. I mean, she's a contemporary oracle. And she just died in 97. So there is a reason why to believe that this can be true for this year, but there's also a lot of possibility that we can shift on. I don't think destiny is something that so determined, so like fixed. We are living in infinite timeline, and those infinite timeline are available to us, and so we can shift.
Right.
I think this is it's already known, no?
Yeah. Will you continue working in this regard with your documentary projects and your exhibition projects?
Sure.
Will this still be, you feel that it needs to be a center, a topical center for your projects?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Maya Pavilion is a long-term project which is currently looking for a bigger space, looking for a bigger, fund. So this is what we are working on. And personal project, I have to finish the documentary because I have so many documentary I have to finish. Yeah, my work as well, which include the documentary, but I'm working on a series of sculpture you have seen in my studio. I'm preparing. Yeah, part of this, I think, yes, we'll keep on. We are working for a big fund to come.
You're still working on this painting from you that says how to find happiness or something like that.
Yeah, the
How
secret
was it?
of happiness. Yeah.
The secret of happiness. Did you find it?
Yeah, sure. It was a painting. Yeah. It was actually in 2020 when I visited psychotherapist with a secret camera, and so I just wanted to have a discussion with him. Like tell about my works and stuff. My current emotional state. And he, after the 20-minute conversation, he just prescribed me this antidepressant.
Yeah.
And I took them, and I came back to the studio. I said, okay, this is crazy. I have to do something.
This cannot be the secret of happiness.
This
should be something else.
Or maybe yes, who knows?
No,
So,
I know it's not.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, I'm pretty certain this cannot be. And that's why you started.
Who knows? No, maybe
differences.
if you separate the molecular of this antidepressant, you can discover a new, ayahuasca.
Okay, I really hope that is not the secret. They will be very dull.
Yeah. Anyway, I smashed those pills and I created the base, like a gesso base for the canvas, is a white. And then on the top of this canvas, I've written The Secret of Happiness with petroleum-based paint and shamanic crystal on the search of happiness. So you put together this true culture, the Western medicine and the shamanic healing culture, in a quest of whatever we could find happiness or whatever is the solution, or whatever.
I really, really hope we find it. Thank you, Andrea, for coming here tonight.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
See us in the future.
In the future, inshallah.
Inshallah. Ciao. Bye. High five. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to give us a like and a comment under the video. If you want to see more, click here and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.